Good afternoon, everyone. We were about to embroider a raincoat, and as I had mentioned before, we wanted to show you a few tips and tricks about sewing on the Charles River raincoats. A lot of people have been sewing these for a long time, and one of the things that we have found is that we like to just embroider on the outside panel. Some embroiderers are actually embroidering it closed, which makes this useless. And it's supposed to be a vent pocket. That's the point of having these air vent pockets. So we're going to show you, at least with the commercial machines where you don't have to float it, the Melco, Amaya, the XTs, the Bravos have the smallest needle plate in the industry. It's going to allow us to get up in there and sew it without sewing it closed. So I'm going to show you a few tricks about that. First, as always, love the Mighty Hoops, and we use 3-ounce cutaway. I think I've mentioned that before. That's my go-to. If you use a little bit of tape to secure your stabilizer, and this is just painter's tape, secure it to your hoop, okay? We're gonna put this on the left chest for this customer. You're gonna slide your Mighty Hoop up into the pocket. And this will even work with an extra small. It's a tight fit, but it still will work, okay? Then you want to, if you get your hoop even with this bottom seam here, and you can test it to make sure you're right.
And she's doing that by feeling around as well.
Right.
Yeah, see.
So see, we can get that even, and then you can attach it to your hoop to the bottom of your magnetic hoop to see if you're straight, and if you're not, you can move it around back there, okay? And then close your hoop up. Now you have to be careful not to pull too hard, and you want to get those wrinkles out. If you do it very, very, very carefully and don't pull too much.
She's tugging right.
I'm just barely tugging, so we can get them. It's hard to get it to always hoop without any of those wrinkles.
Especially when you can't use your hoop master.
Now I want to note that this goes on the back right of your machine, right there. So notice how I hooped it with that basically upside down from what you would normally do. That's because we're going to go on the machine upside down.
Right.
Okay? Now before we head over to the machine, I want to show you this little trick. We learned this the hard way.
Yes.
For the smaller jackets, because the space you're embroidering in is so small, it helps if you put a safety guard. And this is basically from vinyl, transfer vinyl, heat transfer vinyl. You could probably use something else. The thing that I like is it's sticky on one side and slick on the other. And we slide this up in, just slide it up in under your hoop, and then press it down. And that is going to ensure that you do not sew your liner, your mesh liner, to the top.
Because sometimes the machine, the needles will go through and grab and pick it up, and then it's just,
It'll get hung on your hook.
That as well.
So this just ensures everything slides smoothly. Then you're just going to put it on. The needle plate goes in the little hole there. So slide your raincoat on like that. I am going to toggle my front grabber back, and we've already got our colors set up. I want to show you some important settings on the Amaya software when you're doing Charles River raincoats, okay? Really, when you're doing anything, this is basically rubber. It's 100% waterproof, so you can knock holes in it. So I'm going to click on thing 1. We're using the 5.5 Mighty Hoop. We are going to slow it down.
So thing 1 is this design up here.
Yes, we're going to put this 3-letter monogram on. And we're going to slow it down to like 350 stitches a minute. And the reason we're doing that is ultra slow. And this machine will sew up to 1,500 stitches a minute, but you don't want to do that on this machine. We have our color selected. I'm saying you don't want to do it on this machine. You don't want to do it on a rubber raincoat. That's what I was saying. Okay, active feed is the next thing we're going to set. When you're doing a raincoat, I want to set that on auto and put the minimum on a 6, which seems really high for the raincoat, but I want to make sure that we're feeding enough thread through that it's not going to cause it to pull or rip. And then we're going to go back over to the machine and we're going to trace it out.
And how do we trace?
That's a hoop and the trace button, and you'll see it's going to trace it out. I knew it was going to fit because when I designed it in Design Shop, it fit. It shows on the machine it's fitting. The other thing I'm watching is to make sure that when I trace, my needle plate underneath is smooth. There's no catastrophe that's going to happen. If that's going to happen, we want to know now before.
And as y'all can see, our paper is right there, keeping everything safe and secure.
One other important thing. You see we put the raincoat on upside down. What? Make sure, make sure you flip your design before you sew out.
Please don't sew that upside down on a raincoat.
You don't want to sew it upside down on a raincoat because you cannot take that out.
We've tried.
It does not work. So you have to applique over that one, and we're ready. We're going to hit go. So that is sewing out on a Charles River raincoat. We might show you the finished product at the end of the video. And if you have any questions, please post. Let us know if there's anything else you would like to see us do a tutorial on. Please let us know. I do want to make a mention. You can see it's not pulling the raincoat. It's sewing really well. I do want to put in an advertisement for some future videos that we're going to do. It is not too early to start thinking about Christmas, and we are going to put together a few tutorial videos on some key items that are great for Christmas items. One of them being a lace t-shirt. So it's a comfort color t-shirt with 4.5-inch lace at the bottom. Also, a couple's gift that we love to make. It's a pillow that you can embroider with the family name, the year it was established, and so forth. And also hooded towels. An awesome gift for the grandkids or the nieces and nephews. And we'll go over doing this as well. So thank you. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please click on subscribe and like our videos. Thanks and happy sewing.